Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jim. Happy birthday to you.
You are watching Facts Me TV. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more content.
Like, hype, subscribe.
Welcome, my friends, to another episode of Facts Me TV. I am Stephen Lancaster. You are here. It is Friday, 7/24. That's right, July 24th, 2026. And you are sitting here once again with Stephen of Facts Me. Guys, I missed yesterday. I didn't want to. I got up with Jim. I do apologize, guys, but it did give me an opportunity to finish a research paper I have been working on for quite some time, and that is what we're going to go over today. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to be exposing the dark psychology of Candace Owens. In other words, I am breaking down the anatomy of a grift. We know what she does. We know all of the things that has been done, but this literally breaks down what grifting is and how to accomplish it. And essentially, I want this presentation to educate people on what to look for in grifters, because this nails it to me. And as always, you guys will have this paper available to you if you want to use it for your own research, share it, what have you. We're also going to be giving an update on a few of the lawsuits. We've got some fun stuff on the way as well. The bulk of this show, however, is going to be exposing the anatomy of the grift, right? That's what this thing's going to be. But the reason I was out yesterday was it kind of got dropped on us. No big deal, no big emergency. It was just my wife and I had to watch my grandson, Tanner, the one who's fighting brain cancer, had to go up to Duke last night for a 9:30 test and then a follow-up this morning. And this wasn't out of the blue. I had just forgotten about it. And I wasn't reminded about it until yesterday morning, and I'm like, oh, so we're going to have his little brother, Calvin. And I knew I was not going to be able to get any kind of show done with this kid around. This kid loves his papa, and he is my shadow, man, let me tell you. So I wasn't able to get anything visually done, but I was able to sit there with my laptop and finish the paper that we're going to go over today. But I do want to give an update, guys. We do know that D-Day for the Macron versus Candace Owens case is coming up. This is the final hearing, essentially to determine whether this thing's going to go to trial or not. You know, you remember last year when this all first went down, Candace said she was going to fight it. and that she would never try for a dismissal. Well, that's all she's tried to do, is to get this dismissed. But at 10 a.m. on Monday, July 27th, just a few days from now, they're going to try a motion to dismiss and strike the amended complaint. It's not the trial, guys. This is to determine, this is where the judge is going to say this can go to trial or it's not going to go to trial. So we won't have that answer until shortly after 10 a.m. on Monday. But you can cool best believe I will be sitting there waiting to report it to you guys. But now, concerning, since we're on the lawsuit thing, now concerning Brian Harpool suing Candace Owens, as you guys know, that is also very close to coming up. And we've got some news on that as well. They finally were able to serve Mitch Snow. They finally tracked him down and served him. Right now, the current Tennessee docket says July 28th is the date, and it's still active. So that means Monday she's finding out, and in court, finding out if the Macron case is going to move forward to trial. Then Tuesday, the 28th, is the very first hearing. I believe this one's going to be done like over Zoom, like over webcam. I don't know if it's going to be broadcast yet. I doubt it. But we'll find out more after Tuesday with what's going on with Brian Harpool's defamation case against Candace Owens. But as you guys are seeing on the screen right now, this is the official document, the Office of the Sheriff of Franklin County, Washington Sheriff's return of service. They finally were able to serve Mitch Snow. It's a summons and complaint in a civil action because he is a defendant named in this lawsuit. So they have delivered it to Mitch Snow, and the defendant personally, they have his address. Whoever posted this completely doxed him, but I have blocked his address. It was served by Sergeant Steve Warren on Wednesday. So just a couple days ago, guys, old boy Mitch Snow finally got served. So there's no hiding anymore, pal. This is going to be great, guys. The discovery alone, Candace is panicking so bad, because if this judge makes it happen, Candace is going to have to force over all her texts, all of her phone data in general, her emails, everything. We are going to get to see it all. This is going to be so damning for Candace Owens. Okay, guys. So let's get this started. This dark psychology of Candace Owens. This is a paper I worked very, very hard on. And before I even dive into it, something else I'm working on is an official Fax Me website. Guys, I'm only one guy, and I've got my to-do list of things as I'm building Fax Me, but I want to get an official website out there. I was totally against it because I think the days of people visiting websites to hang out are kind of over. Like back in the late 90s, I was very active on a website called GarageBand.com. It had nothing to do with the Apple app or anything like that. It was literally independent musicians. It was a huge forum, people sharing music. This was back in the days of MySpace. And we would hang out there all day long, people talking in the forums. It was a lot of fun. But now it just seems everybody's on social media. So it's like there's no reason, really, to go to somebody's website when all the same content is on their YouTube or on their Facebook or TikTok or whatever. So I've kind of like fought myself on it. Like, do I really want to spend money on a website that nobody's going to go to? But then I thought about it. It's like, I can use this website as a one-stop shop. And when I say shop, not for buying things, but to literally post all of my research. So these documents that I show, instead of saying, hey guys, If you want to message me, I can send you a copy of it. I can just put this stuff up on a FaxMe website, have links, the Charlie Kirk assassination, click that, and there's all the breakdowns, like the how many people would it take to cover it up document, this document that we're about to go over right now, 30-06 document, all of this stuff readily available. So I'm working on that, kind of just a simple website that just lets you go there and download and access all of my research if you want it. That'll keep me from missing people in emails or getting behind in emails. You guys know the drill. And hopefully I'll be launching that soon. If I don't do any shows this weekend, I will have time to get this website done and running. The key will just be to get people there, But again, I believe it's just going to be, the sole purpose of accessing this research information. But as you guys are seeing on the screen, one of the things that I've been working hard on is the dark psychology of Candace Owens, the anatomy of a grift, right, guys? This is an investigative, psychological breakdown, basically, okay? My background is in psychology, and it's time to start using it, right? So essentially what this is it puts together all of the ingredients, all of the key components to what make a grifter, their exact techniques, everything to watch out for in the future. So when you're watching somebody and you're starting to really get down with their content, you can step back and think, wait a minute, this person just did this that's very similar to this grifting paper, and you can, again, guys, when I wrote the Blue Playbook Conservative last year, and released it in December, I was telling you guys that book is literally just a how-to guide of how to deal with grifters, how to locate grifters, how to identify grifters, how to not be a victim. I mean, it goes into everything. I know a lot of you have got the book. A lot of you have had good things to say about it. But again, it's available on Amazon, the Blue Playbook Conservative. Just look it up. You can get it as Kindle, and you can get it as a hardback, or not hardback, but as a paperback book, because I cannot let physical media go. I like to have physical CDs, physical DVDs, physical tapes, physical records, physical books. I just like having it, because they're trying to control digital media, guys, and they're trying to get rid of physical media. And by doing so, they would completely control the content. So in other words, if you have a Netflix account, yay, great, my movie's on there, that's what I want to see, but then that movie's gone. They only have it for so long, and then how do you watch it, right? That's why they're trying to get rid of physical media, so they can control what you can see and when you can see it. So we have to keep fighting, guys, to keep physical media alive. But this paper took me some time to put together, and we're going to break it down. We're going to go over all of this. This is the executive summary. This will kind of explain what is going on in this document. So Candace Owens built one of the most durable media brands in modern American political commentary by mastering a specific psychological architecture. Certainty as a substitute for accuracy, right? It's all about the confident lie. You kind of heard growing up, if you make a mistake, make it a confident mistake, right? Everybody remember that phrase? Make it a confident mistake. Well, this is kind of what Candace does. Persecution as a substitute for accountability, right? It's always her. Oh, they're coming for her. They're blaming her. She literally makes everything about her. And that's something you need to watch with grifters. When you start seeing these podcasters and commentators constantly turning towards themselves, that is a huge red flag. And then, of course, the in-group intimacy as a substitute for evidence. She knows how to play her crowd so they don't ever question anything. So this report documents that architecture using her own public record to prove it. Fact check statements on the record reversals and the business mechanics of her media operation. And I cross-reference it against established psychological research on persuasion, grifting, parasocial bonding, which is huge and not talked about enough, and cult dynamics. And then, of course, I've got some video that I'm going to play alongside of this that reinforces the things that I am saying here. But I even pull from like PolitiFact, factcheck.org, Snopes, and they have rated the majority of her stuff as false. I mean, we know this. I've went over this in the past. This is something her followers just, they don't even really give two craps about. And this goes into the reasons as to why. But, you know, the fact check sites, I've covered that. That's what's going to be going on in this. Delaware court stuff with USA Today, reversing vocally from condemning identity-driven politics to formally cut loose from Daily Wire, anti-Semitic rhetoric, rhetoric, flagged by the ADL. All this stuff I kind of cover in this as examples. Okay, but then we get to this section, and this is the section I really want to focus on at the moment. This is the psychological framework of the grift, guys. So this is what you look for: confidence, tricksters, and grifters. Regardless of the medium, they rely on a consistent set of psychological levers, okay? Cambridge researchers Frank Stahano and Paul Wilson formalized 7 principles con artists use to disarm critical thinking. This is very important, and that is what I'm covering, Factivists, so you guys can go out there educated, knowing what to look for. This is the 7 principles con artists use to disarm critical thinking. So you're no longer thinking for yourself, essentially. Okay, and this is mapped into media influence context. So hopefully you guys will find this information useful. But the number 1 technique is distraction. That's right, Factivists. The con artist misdirects attention from the real transaction. So on their stream, pivoting a fact check into a fight about who's really being persecuted. So the original false claim is never revisited, right? So if I say, these keys are plastic, the very first thing you're going to say is, no, they're not, they're metal. But see, I caveat that with, these keys are plastic. And I know you guys are thinking metal, but that's not why. We need to look at the person who manufactured these. Insert name. And then all of a sudden you've just taken all of their attention to this individual. Now they're like, well, who's this? Wait a minute. What is she going on about? They looked metal, but wait a minute. Right? So then you completely forget about your critical thinking that you knew that these were metal. You following along? Number 2 is social compliance. People defer to perceived authority, right? And this is a great example is Alessandra, right? You guys remember Alessandra? She was basing the fact that Candace was right because she had millions of followers. Had nothing to do with her intelligence or lack of intelligence. Had nothing to do with any kind of career, research, education, anything. All had to do with the fact she had a ton of followers. And it's like I said to Alessandra that day, so did Hitler. A lot of followers does not equate good thing every time, okay? But the social compliance is people defer to perceived authority. So on Candace's stream, repeatedly asserting credentials, insider access, or sources I can't name. This is a shortcut scrutiny of a claim. So when I say, hey, I've got this damning information and I got it from an undisclosed source, that already limits your questioning. Because I can just keep falling back on when I can't name this person that told me that to where I can 100% prove it to you. And then her fans give her that pass. Well, it's not her fault. She can't expose the source. Following along. Number 3, the herd principle, my friends. People feel safe following the crowd. And, it goes back to that old saying, there's safety in numbers, right? So people naturally are followers by design. Okay, if they see 2 doors and there is a line to the one door and there's only 2 people in front of the other door, in their mind, they want to go to the one everybody else is going to. Because they're immediately thinking, something must be wrong over there. There's only 2 people over there. Yet those 2 people standing over there are probably us. Right? The herd principle. People feel safe following the crowd. So on the stream, she is constantly citing the chat reactions. Oh, I see you guys are all loving that. Look at all those hearts. Look at all those donations. Look at all those super chats. She's always emphasizing view counts. Oh, #1 podcast. Oh, we hit 6 million. Oh, we hit 7 million. Right? And comment sections as proof the audience already agrees. So if you go against her, she's making you feel isolated before you even go against her. So she says, guys, I saw all your comments yesterday. You're right. You're absolutely right. So who's going to be her follower then that's going to say, oh, well, I'm not going to say anything even though I disagree with her because everybody else said she's right. Okay, breaking this down, guys, breaking this down. Hopefully you're finding this information useful. Okay, we just did. Okay, yeah, let me move to that one. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to scroll through this so I don't miss anything. And here we go. Okay. So then you've got number 4, which is exploiting dishonesty. And this one's important. They mark who are themselves willing to bend rules are less likely to report the con. Now that sounds like, well, wait, what's he trying to say there? So on the stream, they reward the audience's own outrage with validation. So calling out the false claim feels like betraying the in-group, which is what I alluded to with number 3. So they reward the audience that goes with the flow and tries to make anybody who disagrees feel stupid. Like, hey, you're betraying the group, right? Keep following along. Number 5, deception. Meeting expectations to conceal manipulation. This one's important. So on the stream, and I have said this, you guys, you have heard me say this all the time. She will take that little inkling of truth and attach it to a big lie. And this is what throws people off because that little inkling of truth is right there. So on the stream, she wraps a false claim in a familiar, expected narrative frame. The media always lies, right? How many times have we heard that? So the specific falsehood rides on a shared belief. Well, the media always lies. The media always lies. And the irony in her using that technique constantly is she is the media. But her audience, they just don't see it that way. Number 6, the need and greed. Exploiting desperation or desire for reward. She is the queen of this. On her show, on her stream, fear-based fundraising appeals, urgent subscription pushes, and merchandise drops timed to peak outrage moments. Have you noticed this? She doesn't talk about the merch all the time. She's only talking about the merch when there's something that everybody's outraged about, right? And the fear-based fundraising appeals. You guys have heard her. She has went on her show and said, guys, these lawsuits are going to cost millions and millions of dollars. I have spoken with my attorneys. It's going to cost millions and millions of dollars. I don't have that. I don't have that. And then she directs people to her website to give her money. You following along? The need and the greed. Fear-based fundraising appeals. Like, I don't have this money, so your favorite podcaster that you're so loyal to, if I lose, I won't be here anymore. So she puts the savior into her audience, so they feel like they are saving Candace Owens, their idol. Right? All right, moving on. We got time pressure. We'll touch base on this one really quick. Time pressure. Urgency prevents rational reconsideration. And that goes back to one of the techniques earlier where it's a deflecting. Here's really what she's trying to say, but she's deflecting you over here so you don't question that. Okay? Urgency prevents rational reconsideration. On her stream, this video will be censored. They don't want you to see this. Driving immediate sharing before verification. See what I'm saying? So she gets it out there, gets you all to share it before anyone even questions it. And then it's everywhere, and then people start believing it. She's a master at that. Moving on. Okay, this is really good, guys. Why the fans don't question it. Academic fan studies research describes parasocial relationships, one-sided emotional bonds where an audience feels genuinely connected to a media figure who does not know them individually. That is exactly what we see with Candace Owens and her cult. Modern platforms intensify this by simulating intimacy. Direct camera address, when she looks and she's literally directing her conversation to her fans. First name comment replies, member only chats. She builds them up. So you've got the analysis of fandom dynamics. It shows that parasocial bonds deepen. Audience becomes more forgiving of contradictions and more hostile towards outside critics because they start taking it personally. A pattern that mirrors cult recruitment psychology. That's very important. This is a pattern that mimics and mirrors cult recruitment psychology built on affiliation motivation, in-group bias, and cognitive dissonance. That cognitive dissonance is a very important one, and it's almost impossible to even ignore. When a trusted figure says one thing on Monday and the opposite on Friday, which is pretty much Candace's life, the psychologically easier resolution for an emotionally invested fan is not she lied, it's the context changed. See what happens there? They start defending them by giving excuses. Or the critics are lying about what she said. That one's used a lot. This is the mechanism. It's not a character flaw in individual fans. It's a predictable output of the parasocial design. So moving on, getting to this next section. These are documented case studies. And we're going to go into some video here, guys, and kind of just let the video say what needs to be said. Each case below is sourced to independent, named reporting, or fact-checking organizations. Where a claim is unverified rather than confirmed false, that distinction is stated explicitly. This report does not inflate unverified claims into proven lies. But we've got, the PolitiFact scorecard, the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro split, what all went down there. Let's see, we go on. We've got the Kanye West thing, the Jew thing. I'm going to show you some video that I really want you guys to pay attention to. Then we get into the Owens versus USA Today, the Brigitte Macron stuff. Then we move on down to what Snopes has said on her claims, this, that, and the other thing. And I'm just whipping through these, guys, because we're going to go directly to video here. And then we'll come back with section 3, the fan mentality, why the audience stays. So check out this little montage of her videos and watch it closely. to listen to the contradictions and her verbiage. The verbiage is what you really want to focus on. So I've given you the rundown, everything to look for. So now I've prepared this collage of her clips for you to look for those things and discuss them in the chat. So call it a pop quiz. Check this out, guys, and we'll come back to the fan mentality.
We're turning our attention now to a major feud that put an end to Candace Owens' platform on the Daily Wire. The conservative commentator is out after an ongoing beef with her boss, Ben Shapiro, over the Israel-Hamas war. Candace Owens confirming the news. The rumors are true. I am finally free.
It's not that I'm saying things that they don't like. It's that I'm refusing to allow my voice to be controlled.
In her last segment, which premiered Tuesday, Candace Owens made it clear why she felt she was being ostracized.
That if you do not step out and say things that are radically pro-Israel, or if you are too quiet on certain narratives and they want you to be radically pro-Israel, you can lose everything.
In the past, Ben Shapiro had come to the defense of Owens and her rhetoric. He's the Jewish co-founder of the news site Daily Wire, aka Candace's boss. Well, that friendship all changed following the October 7th Hamas-led attack on Israel. It quickly turned into a very public battle between the two.
It makes me cry when I see the footage all over Twitter of Palestinian children that are being bombed into oblivion. When I see they're missing parts of their body and this implicit threat. Don't say it's sad. You're not allowed to say it's sad. It is sad.
Owens has
Americans are incredibly talented. Like I said, when it comes to the arts and creativity, I just find Black American to be funnier. I think we're also funnier. I think we have a natural sense of humor. Like when we're comedians, we do it the best. Also, when we sing, we do it the best. When we're athletes, we do it the best.
See, Black pride. Yes,
I
Candace.
say this on
That's
my
what
show.
we want from Candace. Black pride. Not all of the other shit that makes us say, damn, is she proud to be Black or is she not proud to be Black?
And if you watch my show, you're not hearing anything new. This is what I say. This is the lessons in all of that. Forget the headline about what I said, but why I say it offends me. I'll say because this is what I grew up with and this is what I know we are capable of. Because I know you can do better. And I know who's making the decisions in the boardroom. And I see their evil game and it's Machiavellian and I'm just not having it. That's why I'm not allowed to speak to Black Americans beyond the headlines. That's why they want to separate us, is because they are worried about what would happen if there was a Black Renaissance.
Welcome back, villagers, to another episode of Hugh Tran, the insurance man. Candace Owens got fired from the Daily Wire. I'll ask you this question and let me know in the comment section, because in this video, it's about to get juicy. Question: do you think the Daily Wire made a mistake?
The Daily Wire's Ben Shapiro sat down with Dave Rubin, publicly addressing the controversy over conservative commentator Candace Owens' split from the Daily Wire.
Can you at least talk to just sort of where it's at now? She's not with you. She's free.
She's free to do whatever she wants to do, to be wherever she wants to be.
So that's the first time I think that Shapiro has publicly addressed what happened, Jessica. Of course, Candace Owens was let go, fired, something to that effect. We don't really know who instigated the split, but it seemed like it was from the Daily Wire side. That seemed to be in response to Candace Owens talking about the war in Gaza and questioning why the United States is giving aid to Israel. She's also come into a little bit of a feud with Ben Shapiro over Christianity versus Judaism.
Another controversy: for Ye, the rapper formerly known as Kanye West, faced social media restrictions over the weekend after users accused the rapper of posting anti-Semitic content, leading to a block on both his Instagram and Twitter accounts.
In the since removed post, West said that he, quote, was going DEFCON 3 on the Jewish people.
If you are an honest person, you did not think this tweet was anti-Semitic. You did not think that he wrote this tweet because he hates or wants to genocide Jewish people. This does not represent the beginning of the Holocaust. That's if you're an honest person, you'll meet that. You will admit that, right? If you're an honest person, when you read this tweet, you had no idea what the hell he was talking about.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and Candace Owens is going to bat for Kanye West after his bizarre and explicitly anti-Semitic tweet caught him a flag on Twitter.
What is DEFCON 3? Did he mean DEFCON 3? Which would be...
That was
But if you think you're going to
bonkers.
get, that was an assault on our White House.
I think the Trump White House needs to be put on trial for this spectacle.
This is white supremacy by ventriloquism. A black mouth is moving, but white racist ideals are flowing from Kanye West's mouth.
This was an embarrassment. Kanye's mother is rolling over in her grave.
All right, some of the media reaction last night to Kanye West's lunchtime meeting with the President of the United States. Let's bring in Candace Owens. She is the communications director for Turning Point USA, and over the last couple of months, she's become friendly with Kanye. Candace, what did you make of some of those sound bites, for instance, talking about how his appearance was an assault on the White House?
Look, all of the commentary that I've heard surrounding this meeting has been absolutely despicable, utterly racist, especially coming from CNN. Don Lemon bringing up his dead mother as a means to draw blood from this.
Was there a hidden hand financing the protest in Minneapolis? Let's find out with the Truth-O-Meter Minute. Hey everyone, it's Katie with PolitiFact. People around the country are gathering to protest police brutality against minorities, including George Floyd. Officials in Minnesota and Washington, D.C. were quick to blame out-of-staters for instigating sometimes violent protests and looting in Minneapolis. But on social media, pundits identified another culprit: liberal, billionaire philanthropist George Soros. Here's a tweet from conservative commentator Candace Owens. The Minneapolis chief of police just confirmed that many of the protesters that are burning down the city are not from Minneapolis. My guess, as he did with Antifa, Democrat George Soros has these thugs on payroll. He's funding the chaos via his Open Society Foundation. Owens took some bad information from the Minnesota police chief and spun it to make an unproven claim about George Soros. Soros is a Hungarian-born hedge fund manager who has used his wealth to support Democrats like Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and he has criticized President Donald Trump. His Open
All right, guys. So we delayed the second installment of the Becoming Brigitte series because after announcing that we were going to air the episode on our CandaceOwens.com website, we underwent extensive DDoS attacks all weekend. Essentially, our servers were being overwhelmed. Then yesterday evening, we received a second strongly worded letter from the Élysée Palace from Brigitte and Emmanuel Macron. This time, it's a very brief letter, which we are going to show you in its entirety later on in the show. What can we say other than the Macrons sure are not behaving like a couple who have absolutely nothing to hide? So let's figure out why they are behaving the way that they are. Welcome back to our Becoming Brigitte series. So a lot of people were wondering with the first installment, the entry to this series, why are the French people allowing this to happen? How could they allow all of these things to happen? And you're probably wondering how on earth Brigitte and Emmanuel Macron have pulled this off, essentially this mass suppression of the press so that none of us were even aware.
And what about cybersecurity? I noticed that you had this, you have this Brigitte Macron, who is the wife of the president of France. His name is Emmanuel Macron. And one thing that's interesting about them is they have an age difference, right? How many years is it?
How many years do they tell people, or how many years is it actually?
Wow. That's how it goes.
Mm-hmm. If you haven't watched the series, I mean, there's a reason it's going
I've
absolutely
watched 2 episodes of the series.
Crazy. It's this is not like, wasn't nothing. And I want to be clear. I wasn't the one who I happened upon this because I'm one of these rare birds, because I'm nosy, that if I see something happening in another country, I will take the time to pick it up in the foreign language and then interpret it into English and to try to read and understand it. And most people just will be like, I don't really care. It's happening in France. It's happening in Romania. It's happening wherever. I just make time. I get interested. And so Savannah, who's my manager, remembers the night at the UFC fight where I found the reporting on this. And actually the way it popped up was like the daily.
All right, my friends, you just talked about those clips, or you just watched those clips. So now we're going to cover the fan mentality. Why does the audience stay? Right? I know you guys, I know me. Somebody pisses you off enough or ignores you enough or lies to you enough, you're just done. We're very forgiving people as Christians. But again, you can forgive somebody and not have to associate with them. It's like when the whole thing went down with Bronson. You know, yes, I lost some people, but those were newer people kind of. But those of you who have been with me much longer knew Bronson was full of crap, and you gave me the benefit of the doubt and the time to prove it. That's the big difference. Candace doesn't ever go back and prove anything to her audience. Okay? I do. Now, I'm not going to do it every time just because any Tom, Dick, or Harry out there wants to say something negative about Facts Me. You know, I'm just not addressing it. The Bronson thing took my attention because he was blatantly lying and he caused relationships I was building with other people that I actually liked to get ruined. You know, so I had to step up and correct everything. Some of you stayed, some of you didn't, some of you chose the Bronson side of things. That's okay. But that's exactly what this talks about. The fan mentality, why the audience stays. The case studies above share a structure. A claim is made with total confidence, but it's later contradicted either by Owens' own statements or by independent fact checkers like FactsMe. And the audience's trust does not meaningfully erode. 4 mechanisms explain this, each grounded in published research, Factivist. You have the identity fusion. Audience who have merged personality identity with a commentator's brand experience criticism of that figure as a personal attack. And I alluded to you earlier in this research paper about them taking it personally. So the attacks are at Candace Owens and should stop there, but her audience feels like they're being attacked as well. That's triggering that defensive reasoning rather than reappraisal, right? The second one, a big one, we've talked about this a lot, cognitive dissonance resolution. When belief and new evidence conflict. The psychologically cheapest fix is to discredit the evidence's source. Mainstream fact checkers are biased, right? Rather than the belief itself. This again goes back to before, where she'll get you off of this fact by blaming it on somebody else. So now her fans' focus is on this somebody else, right? They've completely forgot the whole reason they're there. Then you have manufactured persecution, and Candace is the queen of this, framing every fact checker platform action as proof of a coordinated conspiracy against her coverts, external accountability into more evidence of her righteousness. And she uses this all the time, guys, where we're all paid to go against her, right? All the podcasters, all the commentators being paid to go against her. The fact checkers are against her. The whole system's against her. No, Candace, it's not that we're against you. We're against lying and misinformation and disinformation and just scum of the earth ungodly people, which is you. Okay? But she paints herself the victim all the time. All the time. I'm sorry, but I've never seen being a victim as the cool thing to do. That's just me. That's a sign of weakness to me. And then you've got the sunk cost loyalty. And what is that? That is subscriptions, merchandise purchases, and time invested defending her publicly create a psychological sunk cost that makes admitting error more expensive than continuing to believe. And that kind of goes into the ego of her cult, right? They have bought merchandise. They have spent money on those super chats. They have donated to her through her website. They have made pictures. They have made their whole presence a fan of Candace Owens. So for them to admit that they've been duped, well, as we've seen, many of them won't. Some of them have. We've seen a few of them say, I used to follow her, and when she hit this Charlie Kirk thing, I was out. That's great. Those are good people. But these people are more concerned about their ego and how stupid they're going to look by saying they were duped. When the irony is, the interesting thing, and I will tell you, cultists, this, I would never think you were stupid for finally admitting you're being duped. I would thank the Lord if you cultists who have that sunk cost loyalty, because you've invested in Candace, you're afraid to say anything against her. You're not going to get made fun of by me. You're going to get commended for finally standing up. And hey, we've all been duped. We've all been taking advantage of people. There have been people in my life I've loaned money to and I've never got that money back. Lesson learned. You know what I'm saying? It happens to all of us, but you don't change your whole identity or become something else because you're too afraid to admit you were taken advantage of. I think honestly, I can say nobody cares. Nobody cares. I don't know you personally. I think it would state more about yourself to come out and say, man, I got fooled. We all did, dude. I've said it myself on here. I used to follow Candace because of Charlie. You know, I thought if Charlie's speaking for this girl, hey, you know, she must be all right. And the only stuff I watched was when she was with Charlie because I was watching Charlie. But I never really had anything against her until this whole Charlie Kirk thing. Yeah, I thought she was kind of out of her mind over the years, you know, some of these conspiracies of hers, because I'm just not a conspiracy guy, really, you know. There's some things I question, but, dude, we were all there. Candy cultists, I'm looking at you directly. A lot of us were there, but now we're here. And nobody's making fun of anybody for that. So don't use that as an excuse. So we've covered all that. Now I want to get into this next section, which is the grift as a revenue model, which of course for Candace, this is the holy grail, right? So the grift as a revenue model, independent media personalities monetize through predictable stack. Okay. That's paid subscriptions, membership tiers, direct membership, sponsorships, and appearance speaking fees. The psychological levers documented: urgency, persecution, and in-group belonging map directly onto that revenue stack, right? So you've got the revenue lever, and then you've got the psychological mechanism exploited. So your revenue lever is subscription membership push, and then the mechanism exploited is the greed and herd principle. Join the people who already knew the truth, right? We need to be with them, right? Let's invest in that. Then you have your fear-based fundraising appeals, which we talked about. Time pressure, urgency collapses, careful evaluation of the claim. So you don't give your audience time to even reconsider what you're saying because you're creating an urgency. You're creating this urgency to get money from them. Then you've got the merchandise tied to controversy, identity fusion. Buying the product is buying membership into one group. They're trying to silence me framing. Manufactured persecution converts platform fact check action into call to action. None of this requires any single claim to be a deliberate lie in the legal sense. The pattern documented here is a business model evaluated the same way any commentator or brand's claims should be evaluated, against the independent record, right? And guys, I've included all of my sources on that. I hope you enjoyed this. I did kind of want to go a little bit deeper, but I'm going to make this paper available to all of you guys. And right now we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to get into some fun stuff to close out the remainder of this show. So you guys check out these commercials and we will be right back.
Every week they lie, twist facts, and dodge the truth. We call it out. Educate, don't fabricate. Subscribe to Facts Me for weekly fact checks.
This channel is a mix of facts, parody, satire, and personal opinion. If you ever need clarification on any of the material, please don't hesitate to ask.
This is the greatest preliminary trial ever. The greatest, probably the greatest, bestest in the world. She's low IQ. Low IQ. Look at this.
We just wish people would stop comparing her to us.
At least she isn't accusing us anymore. People are afraid to talk to me now. That's defamation.
She couldn't even spell me right! I was accused for months! That's defamation too! I don't know. The woman is a moron. I said I did it, and she's trying to blame the microphone sitting over there. That was not me!
You are watching Facts Me TV. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more content.
All right, my friends, welcome back to Facts Me TV. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. It's another one of those talky talk episodes. But, guys, Remington's been after me. We're not quite at a year. We're going to hit a year in August for Facts Me, and he has been after me, man. Remington is my dog, for you guys that don't know. He's literally laying right here below me. And he's wanting to do a segment on the show. And I'm like, but dude, I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And I said, I tell you what, let me give you some content with my voice. And let's just see what you come up with. And I will show the factivists. And if they think you've done an okay job, maybe we'll allow you to have a segment on the show here and there. I really don't want this show to go to the dogs. I'm sorry. It's Friday. Anyway, so I gave him some information on Candace Owens. I was like, here, Remington, here's just a quick timeline, rattle through it, try to sound like me the best you can. Video editing isn't easy, man. Isn't easy. And I don't want to see just random videos of you. Okay? You better be reporting this professionally. So, guys, let's give Remington the floor. He's put together this 3-minute video. I haven't even seen it yet. Let's see if he does a good job, guys. Let's check this out, and then we'll be right back. Here we go. 2008, sued Stanford High School over alleged racist death threats. No voicemails were entered into the case. Only her words as proved. 2009 and 2010 has claimed she attempted to take her own life in college. No medical records, no hospital intake, no psychiatric admission, no campus police reports under any normal protocol. An event that serious would generate a paper trail and a psychological evaluation, but there is nothing. All that exists is her word. 2009 to 2010 says she dropped out of college over financial aid issues. No supporting documentation exists. Zero records of financial aid or collection reports exist, only her words as proof. 2010, interned at Vogue magazine, claimed she was abused there. 2011 to 2014, worked in finance, private equity, specific roles unknown. 2015 to 2016, ran a liberal gossip site called Degree 180 Gossip. 2016, launched a public doxing site, socialautopsy.com. It was widely condemned as dangerous and illegal. Up until 2016, Candace presented herself as a diehard liberal and very anti-Trump. The following year, publicly flips to conservative and pro-Trump. 2017, she was hired by the great Charlie Kirk at Turning Point USA as Director of Urban Engagement after flipping to conservative. 2018, temporarily suspended from Twitter over posts for multiple violations and racist tweets. 2019, suspended by Facebook over hate speech. 2019, fired by Turning Point USA. 2019, 3 months later, marries wealthy $240 million British heir George Farmer after knowing him for only 7 months. 2020, GoFundMe suspends her, citing hate, discrimination, intolerance, and falsehoods. 2020, Facebook fact-check partners suspend her for spreading misinformation. 2020, hired by the Daily Wire to host a show marketed as the new face of black conservatism. 2021, loses her lawsuit against fact-checking outlets. A judge ruled her claims to be misinformation. 2022, named as a defendant in a class action lawsuit over a cryptocurrency scam. 2024, Australia denies her a visa on character. 2024, the Daily Wire fires her. 2025, 2025, sued for defamation. 2025, officials and commenters state she has provided no evidence on her claims about who was involved in the Charlie Kirk assassination. Candace holds a 0% fact check percentage and has never one time officially been right about anything. In fact, bring the facts right here in the comments. If you can, not a feeling, not a theory, hit reality right in the face, kids, because there is nothing you can post here. From high school through today, Candace Owens has displayed the same cycle. Create a scandal, center herself as the victim, offer no evidence, monetize the chaos, flip ideological positions for attention, burn every bridge, and then move on to the next spotlight. If you still take this woman seriously and at her word, there may be no hope for you at all. She is exactly what I call a blue playbook conservative, a liberal, mentally packaged and marketed as a conservative brand for her own profit. Well then, Remington, I noticed you changed the logo a little bit. Good boy. Gonna have to fact check that. Well, Remington, we appreciate your contribution. That was an odd hybrid of a video, buddy. I mean, you were talking in some of it, and then it was just like scenes of you like showing yourself. What are you trying to get a chick, man? Dude, I'm getting you fixed. I told you that. All right. Let's not get into that. Let's not get into that, buddy. But guys, we've got a new segment that is kind of came to us by accident, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. We've got Tinfoil Theater 7000. You're like, what? What is Tinfoil Theater 7000? Well, you know, throughout a couple of these live episodes, I have made reference to Mystery Science Theater, right? Which I happen to be a huge fan of. I've loved that ever since it first dropped. Both hosts, whatever. I love it, man. It's great. So now we've got a new segment. Again, Remy's idea. He heard me mention it multiple times, you know, because when I'm doing commentary on Candace Owens' stuff, sometimes I feel like I'm literally in Mystery Science Theater. So today, me and Remy are going to give you Tinfoil Theater 7000. Check it out.
Addressed to the president and various members of the staff. They were found to contain powdered gelignite, a pencil battery, and a detonator rigged to explode the gelignite, when the envelope was opened. But when the White House mailroom alert to the danger...
Imagine Candace Owens mispronouncing a word. The gelignite. She says, pardon me, gelignite. She said it wrong twice, and she's literally reading from a real 1947 Truman assassination attempt article. It is pronounced gelignite. Like, how can you not look at that? It literally, like, pronounces itself. Candace.
Okay, so Howard Hughes is the name that we need to reference. Who was Howard Hughes? Howard Robert Hughes Jr. was one of the richest and most influential people in the world throughout his lifetime. Okay, he lived from 1905 to 1976. He was so influential that Leonardo DiCaprio actually played...
Wow, you know, I'm absolutely convinced that Candace Owens has the reading and comprehension skill of a third grader. She says Howard Robert Hughes Jr. was one of the richest and most influential people in the world. His real middle name was Robard, not Robert. That's one Google search away there, Candy.
Almost certainly fatal dose. We then learned that he suffered from malnutrition, that he was covered in bed sores, while his kidneys were damaged. His other internal organs, including his brain, which had no visible damage or illnesses, were deemed perfectly healthy. X-rays revealed 5 broken off hypodermic needles that were inside the flesh of his arms.
What'd she just say? Oh, X-rays revealed 5 broken off hypodermic needles. It is hypodermic needles, not hyperdermic nebbles. Say that 5 times fast, kids. Oh my gosh, she's so stupid.
Fault, right? This NCRI article that you were promoting, a digital assassin. This is all you. I don't have a PR apparatus. Okay. Mitchell receives the request and he asks me if I want to comment. 9 out of 10 times I say, Mitchell, you can say whatever you want. I don't care because I don't get any good press. It doesn't matter for me to try to clean up or correct or say anything. The press hates me. I'm at war with the press at all times because they are an extension of the state. And Erica is deeply protected by the state. Everybody can see that. So it's just incredible. Obviously, immediately my PR person dropped the receipts, Mitchell, and showed the article and was just like, you're blaming us because you're terrible at PR. Here is the email that we received from the Daily Mail asking us to comment, and we did comment.
Wait a minute. This goes back to what we were talking about the other day. Saying two different things in the same sentence. She says, I do not have a public relations apparatus. But 40 seconds later, my public relations person dropped the receipts. Mitchell. So which is it? No PR person or a PR person named Mitchell who dropped the receipts? Candace. You can't even keep track of your own lies. Oh, I bet this next one's going to be good. It's an ad that you're actually paid for.
And their whole mission is simple, spreading the truth of the Catholic faith. What I love about them is the quality and the authenticity. They publish some of the most accurate editions of scripture available in English, including the 1859 Haydock edition of a Dewey Rheims Bible. And this isn't just any Bible. It's packed with thousands of footnotes and commentary from the early church fathers and doctors. It really brings the faith to life in a deeper way, but it doesn't...
She just loves these people, Factivists, but she can't even pronounce the Bible correctly. Dewey Rheims mispronounced while reading an ad for the company that sells that exact Bible. Candace, they should fire you. They should cancel the contract or at least not up your contract again when you can't even pronounce what they are paying you to sell.
Be swayed by obvious influencer campaigns. They're so obvious. Like I said yesterday, when we were tracking, all of a sudden they're all bringing up Sandy Hook. They're all talking about Sandy Hook. That's an obvious influencer campaign, which makes us believe that your next plan is going to be a lawsuit to try to bankrupt anybody who is...
Oh, that's just a plain old dumb take, Factivists. They are all bringing up Sandy Hook. This is an obvious influencer campaign. Look, I'll be the first to tell you, the only time I bring up Sandy Hook is when you do. Like right now. That's why I'm talking about it. Sandy Hook was a real 2012 tragedy. It wasn't a coordinated influencer campaign. And people talking about it now doesn't make it an coordinated influencer campaign. I do have a coordinated influence campaign. I'm not being paid for it. But I have coordinated this campaign to expose your lies. We all have campaigns, Candace. You're on one now. It's called grifting. So concludes our first episode, Factivists. Our first episode of Tinfoil Theater 7000. So yeah, we're just going to start pointing out how dumb Candace Owens is from now on. With that segment, Tinfoil Theater 7000. And can you guess why I chose 7000? My friends, my Factivists, I hope you enjoyed today's show. It was a little talky talk, but hey, I wanted to go over that research with you guys on the fact that there is a dark psychology to Candace Owens and there is anatomy of her grifting and there is a way to detect it. She is so blatantly obvious, so cookie cutter. She is pattern after pattern and very easily dissected. So again, if you guys want a copy of that research paper, just shoot me an email, canyouffaxme@gmail.com. And like I said, hopefully by the end of the weekend, I have an official website where I can put all of these research documents that you guys can download at any time. Maybe also include a blog, something like that. We'll see. But the main goal is to make these research papers accessible beyond having to email me for them. Because, you know, as we grow, I'm just not going to be able to keep up on that. So we will see. Guys, my friends, I hope you have a great weekend. I think I'm going to stay away from doing a live this weekend unless something truly amazing happens. That way I can focus on getting the website done and just focusing on some social media posts and stuff for the weekend. Want everybody to have a great time, good weekend. Keep the truth on your tongue and God in your heart. Big thank you to Jim, Juju, Nikki, our amazing mods who keep the flow flowing, who welcome in to our family, new subscribers, new membership getterers. Right? That's right, guys. You can get yourself a Fax Me membership and support this channel. All of the funding goes to my experiments and research and getting Fax Me out there. I don't use it to go buy $1,000 shirts. Anyways, guys, take care. I'll be talking at you soon.
I can lie if I want to, I can leave my friends behind. Your friends don't lie, and if they don't try, well, there is no truth to mine. Say I attack who I want to, fake and gay actually. I act like a demon from out of this hell, leave fact check far from me. And I can lie, everything is out of spite. I can lie, I can try to be like Erica Wright. I can lie, I can try, convince you Charlie was mine. I can lie, I can try, everybody's taking the chance. The Candace dance, the Candace dance, the Candace dance, the Candace dance, the Candace dance. Yeah, Candace is a dunce, and that's more than once, yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jim. Happy birthday to you.